welcome back to Helen Unfiltered. I'm Cassidy Doger, and today we're diving into a topic that honestly gets me so mad. How history has absolutely done Helen of Troy dirty. Last episode, we talked about her myth, how she was either taken by or ran off with Paris, how that started the Trojan War, and how the men around her made all the decisions while she just kind of existed. But here's the thing. Over the years, different writers and societies have twisted her story into whatever fit their narrative. And to help me break this down, I got my friend Laura Gabauer here, who spends way too much analyzing classic literature. Welcome.
Thanks, and you're absolutely right. Helen's story has been rewritten so many times, and each version tells us way more about the people writing it than Helen herself.
Right? It's like no one can decide if she was a victim, a villain, or some kind of ancient femme fatale. So let's start with the OG source, the Iliad. What does Homer actually say about her?
So, this is really interesting because in the Iliad, Helen is not some evil seductrix. She's pretty self-aware, and she even hates herself for the war happening because of her. She literally calls herself a hateful creature and talks about how much she wishes she'd never been born. What a little depresso espresso.
Okay, so not the whole temptress who ruins everything angle.
Nope, and she's also trapped in Troy. There's a scene where she talks to Hector, Paris' brother, and she's basically I hate it here, but what can I even do? She's not scheming or injured in the war. She's stuck, and she knows it. Dramatic.
So when do people start turning her into a manipulative villain?
So that starts happening after Homer. The Romans, especially in the Aeneid, go hard on the idea that Helen helped the Trojans. There's even this one part where she secretly opened the gates for the Greeks when they attacked Troy.
Wait, so now she's a traitor to Troy? That's the opposite of the original story.
Exactly, and later on, other writers even take it even further. The poet Stricorius literally rewrites the story to say that Helen never even went to Troy. She was magically replaced by a fake version of herself, while the real Helen was chilling in Egypt the whole time.
Okay, that's completely wild. So basically, history couldn't decide what to do with her, so they just kept making up new versions?
Yep, and by the Middle Ages, people started talking about her as this cautionary tale, oh, look what happens when a woman is too beautiful.
Oh, of course. So now it's her fault for being too attractive?
Yep, and by then, in the Renaissance, we get a weird mix of pity and blame. Poets are out here writing out how she's so beautiful that men couldn't control themselves. But instead of blaming the men, they blame her. This happens to me all the time.
That is so frustrating. Imagine being born with a pretty face and somehow that makes you responsible for an entire war?
Exactly. I know, this keeps happening to me too. Think about the media treats celebrity scandals. If famous couple breaks up, people immediately start, blaming the women. Oh, look, she must have been so difficult, or she must have cheated.
Yes. And even when it's clearly the guy's fault, the woman still gets some of the blame. Like with Jennifer Aniston, when Brad Pitt left her for Angelina Jolie, people kept making it sound like Jen was too boring or not exciting enough. How's that her fault? Let the girl breathe.
Exactly. Or even with Britney Spears, my Pookie, she just went through this breakdown in the early 2000s, and the media was just oh, she's so crazy, instead of looking how much pressure she was under.
So basically, history has been pulling a Helen of Troy on women for centuries?
Pretty much. Women who don't fit into the simple, good girl or bad girl like I do, box get rewritten to whatever story that benefits people in power.
And that's why Helen's story is still relevant today, okay. It's not just about an ancient war, it's about how we tell stories about women in power, beauty, and influence, like you.
Yep, the way we talk about Helen says way more about us than it does her.
Okay, I love that as a closing thought. Thank you so much for coming on today, Laura. This was such a good conversation.
Thanks for having me. This was super fun.
Alright, that's it for today's episode of Helen Unfiltered. Next time, we're going to take this discussion even further. What if Helen lived today? How would the media treat her? Would she be a social media influencer, a tabloid queen, a reality TV star? We're getting into all of it, so stay tuned.